Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobuman. Welcome to CompTIA IT Fundamentals FC0 U61 version of the practice questions. So these are free practice questions directly from CompTIA. If you need the link, check out the first comment that is pinned by me, or you can just ask me to send you the link and I'll gladly send you the link in the comments below. All right, so I'm not affiliated with CompTIA in any way. Matter of fact, they don't like me because they see me as their competitor because they told me so. So I just wanted to run through these real quick and see what you think. Let me know, do you find these really easy or is it somewhat difficult for you to answer these type of questions? All right, so here we go. Question number 1. Which of the following storage units can be used to represent 1024 megabytes? So the question is, what is 1024 megabytes equal to? And then we've got some options here. A, 1 gigabyte, B, 1 kilobyte, C, 1 terabyte, and D, 1 petabyte. All of these can be looked at when it comes to increments as in 1000. In this case, 1024 megabytes is equal to 1 gigabyte. The same thing could be said for 1 kilobyte in the sense that 1024 bytes equals 1 kilobyte. Now, if we were to do increments of the gigabytes, 1024 gigabytes would equal 1 terabyte. So when you buy your hard drive, for example, if it says it's 1 terabyte, that means there are 1024 gigabytes on that hard drive. Of course, after you format it, there's way less. That's because of the way the file system works. So on disk, it would actually show less, but they like to advertise it as such. So they would say 1 terabyte drive, but in reality, whenever you format it, it's actually less than 1000 gigabytes. All right, and the same thing could be said for 1 petabyte. That would be 1024 terabytes equals to 1 petabyte. You would probably see this or maybe see it on a server somewhere. But if you had a computer that had this much storage, I don't know, it would have to be a server, right? All right, moving on. Let's go to question number 2. An image displayed on a monitor is an example of, and then you got options here for A, input, B, output, C, processing, and D, storage. So let's think about this rationally. It's an image displayed on a monitor. So it's a display image. It's an image displayed on a monitor. So this is coming from what? The image is coming from the computer, right? And it goes onto the monitor. So it's coming out of a computer, and for those reasons, it's called output. So the answer is B, output. All right. Question number 3. A school has a sign posted in the computer lab that says, sharing passwords with others is prohibited. This is an example of, and it gives you some options. It says here, A, social networking, B, a security policy, C, file sharing, and D, instant messaging. I apologize if I laugh sometimes. It's just some of these just seem funny to me. Anyways, so it's a sign, right? It's a sign that says sharing passwords with others is prohibited. So it's a warning. Do not share your passwords. It's definitely not social networking because we know what social networking is. You know, that's things like Facebook, etc., 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 YouTube, of course. And then we've got B, a security policy, right? So it is a security policy because we're talking about passwords here. Sharing passwords with others is prohibited. It's a warning. And it's a security policy in this case because it talks about passwords, and that's a secure thing. Obviously, it's not file sharing. Obviously, it's not instant messaging. All right, here we go. Question 4. A user buys a new desktop computer and then connects a cable that allows the computer to connect to the web. Well, which cable? Which cable are you talking about? I guess that might be the question, right? A user, that means anybody, right? Somebody that uses a computer, buys a new desktop computer, and then it connects a cable that allows the computer to connect to the web. So you would get home and connect all of those other cables that are not what they're talking about. They're talking about a cable that you specifically connect to your network router, modem, or whatever it is you have for your internet access. So it's a physical cable. So the thing that first comes to mind is either yellow, gray, blue, or any other cable that is connected to your modem or /router. Which of the following ports would most likely be used? So let's talk about these ports real quick for people who are brand new to computers or IT and they want to get into IT. We got A, which is DVI, which stands for Digital Video Interface. So let's just do a quick lookup to see how that looks like. Here it is. We're going to look at some images, and this goes into the back of your computer. So these are actually combos. This is the wrong ones. So this goes from DisplayPort to the digital video interface. But anyways, DisplayPort is definitely one of them. Here is a standard DVI to DVI. So this goes from your computer to your monitor, as simple as that, right? And then we got HDMI. Everybody should at this point know what HDMI is, and that is high definition media interface. So I'm just going to look it up just so you have an idea of what it looks like, again, in case you are brand new to IT. And this is what the ends look like. So you would have, anyways, going from your monitor to your computer, and this is what TVs also accept. So you can connect your computer to your TV if you'd like. So it's not that. This is, we're looking for internet. And the answer here is actually Ethernet. So let's look it up, because this is the cable that we are going to use to connect our desktop. So I'm just going to do Ethernet cable types. Let's just look at some images. So this is the cable that you would most likely recognize as something that you would connect. And this is what that is, really. So here's an example of blue one. Here's, some gray ones, black ones, blah, blah, blah. Colors really don't indicate the speed or anything like that. But, depending on the manufacturer, but it can be any color. The reason you'd have different colors is so that you can be more organized. If you work for a company that has a network or a data closet somewhere, and they have a bunch of switches and they have different parts of the network, that's the main reason to use different color Ethernet cords. So this is what that is. So the answer is Ethernet. But let's look at Thunderbolt as well. This is just another form of data connection that is similar to USB, except it's a lot faster. And some companies use it, some don't. But it basically what it is. It kind of looks like your phone connector when it comes to that, and because it's a USB type C type of connector, and this is what it looks like. All right, and then we got Bluetooth. Bluetooth is just a wireless form of connecting, typically found in like when you're connecting your headphones. You're usually found in audio, but it can be used for just regular data. So anyways, the answer is C, Ethernet. Question number 5. Which of the following would best help to protect against unauthorized use of a mobile phone? All right. All right, so it's a mobile phone question. A pop-up blocker and cookie cleaner. All right, maybe not. But it says here, which of the following would best help protect against unauthorized use of mobile phones? So what do we use to lock our phones with, right? What do we use to keep it secure? And this is something that we have to look at or look for. B, alternate browser and private mode. No. C, pin and screen lock. Well, there you go. That's the answer, right? You put a you set a pin on your mobile phone and screen lock. You lock your screen. That would be the best way to protect your phone from unauthorized use. Encrypted messaging and time expiring texts. Okay, all right. This is after you're already logged into the mobile phone, so that's not what that is. All right. Question number 6. A user connects a new mouse to a laptop. All right, Anne, good job. And the mouse works with no additional steps taken by Anne. Well, that's good. Good job, Anne. Which of the following installation types does the best describe? Which of the following installation types does this best describe? All right, let's see. And it says here driver installation for an option A. And then we've got B, plug and play. We got C, web-based, and D, manual. So this is an example of something that started with Windows XP. When Windows XP came out, oh gosh, like 20 years ago or something, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. 20 years ago, they came out with a feature that was called plug and play. That means that you can plug in just about any device into your computer and you would be able to use it right away. And that's an example of what happened here. Anne had a laptop, I had a mouse, and she wanted to connect it to a laptop, and she did it, and it just started working without any additional steps. Now, before plug and play came out, you had to do driver installation manually. Then it was kind of a pain to do, but then later on Microsoft came up with a way to make it plug and play. So what's happening is with the plug and play is that Microsoft has drivers pre-installed, or I should say available on the computer, so that when it detects this type of component, peripheral, in this case a mouse or a keyboard or anything that's basic, as soon as it sees that it's connected, it'll be able to use that. It will be able to recognize it and say, oh yeah, this is that mouse, this is that keyboard type that we have on our record, and we're just going to use that driver for that, so that way it works immediately without having to deal with it, right? So I don't know why this has here it says web-based or a D manual is, I don't know. That's irrelevant. Question number 7. Which of the following protocols is used for secure web browsing? All right, so we're getting a little bit more advanced here. I thought everything's going to be super simple, and it still may be simple for some people who are watching this as well. But for those people who are trying to transition into IT, this may be a bit of an unknown. So for those reasons, we're going to talk about it a little bit. So one thing to kind of keep in mind is just think of the word secure and look for that when we talked about these options, so you can guess correctly. But in this case, we're not going to guess, we're going to know for sure. This is option A, SFTP, which stands for Secure File Transfer Protocol, is basically used to transfer files between one place and another. So let's say your computer is uploading files to, let's say, Google Drive or anything that's online that you're sending your files to. Let's say you are wanting to upload your videos, your images to something. Chances are it's going to be using Secure File Transfer Protocol, because we're talking about transferring files, right? That's a simple explanation I can give you for that. Now, if you guessed this, I wouldn't necessarily be mad at you, because we are still talking about secure web browsing here, because when you use internet, you are still sending files back and forth. You're mostly receiving files, but occasionally you do send files, and then in that sense, you're sending data, not necessarily like you're uploading files, unless you are on a website that you're trying to change your web image. Let's say you're using Facebook and you want to change your image on the Facebook, right? And then you send it. In that sense, you would switch over to using SFTP through your web browser, right? So just because you are just web browsing doesn't mean that you won't necessarily use SFTP at some point, right? That's what I'm trying to say. The next option here for B is HTTPS, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and this is usually would stand by itself, which is unsecure version of it. So this is basically your web browsing. This is what links and what you see on the web browser is also referred to as hypertext, but then we got TP, which stands for transfer protocol. But then when you have S in it, makes it secure, right? Remember when we said keep in mind S? This is what that is. And let's do a little quick just look up, just so you can get an example of what Wikipedia says here. It says hypertext transfer protocol secure, right? So this makes your web browsing secure, and the way it does it is by encrypting your connection between the server and you. So if we look at this, we're on CompTIA website right now, right? Here is where you can get HTTPS information from. So if I just hover over this and see the little lock, that means that it's encrypted. That means it's using an S version of the hypertext transfer protocol, and the connection is encrypted between you and CompTIA. So anything you send from your computer to CompTIA, it's going to be encrypted. So if we click on this lock, if you see this lock, that means it's working, right? And it says connection is secure, right? And you can get more information if you really wanted to see the actual certificate that's being used. You can look it up and see it. It's right here. It just depends on how you're viewing it, and when it comes to the browser. If you're using a different browser, it's going to show up different. But here's information, and you can see that it's been issued to CompTIA from a third party. Usually a third party provides a certificate. And here are some encrypted data. This is just a fingerprint of it, but you would get basically an encryption key on one side, and on the other you'd have the other one. Anyways, I don't want to make this too complicated. So that's what that is. The answer is HTTPS. So while recording this video, I forgot to talk about the option C and D, which is L2TP. That one is simply VPN encryption protocol. It's used for VPN connecting from your computer to your work, or if you're using VPN to connect to a different server, like in a different country, so you can watch some other shows that are available over there. That's what that is for. And then IMAP is used for email access, or it's used for email encryption in that sense. All right, question 8. Which of the following is the most secure password? So they want to know what's the most secure password here, just the combination of things. So let's look at a couple of different versions here. A, and it just says happy birthday 12. That seems really simple, right? So, I wouldn't use that, right? Because it's simple. B, happy day 12, exclamation mark. So at least we've got H capitalized and D capitalized, but we got consecutive numbers here, 1 and 2, and then we've got just exclamation mark. It's good to have things like exclamation marks and special characters, but in this case, that's still technically not the most secure. Here's something that looks really secure. We got a combination of lowercase and capitalized letters with some numbers and some special characters, which is asterisks here. So this is a pretty decent password. I would say so far this is the most secure one. We still have a consecutive numbers there, but technically this one is the most secure. And then for the last, we got happy birthday 123. Obviously not as secure as C, so we're going to go with C. Question 9. Which of the following computer components is primarily responsible for preventing overheating? So what's preventing our computer from overheating? We've got a fan. All right, that's it. That's it. I'm done. That's it. Obviously, right? That's the obvious answer here. And we got solid state drive, which is your storage, right? And then we got CPU, central processing unit. And then we got D, which is firmware. It's basically what firmware, if you don't know what firmware is, it's basically what's running your computer at its core. You can also think about it as an BIOS on a computer. Like, how whenever you boot your computer and then you see possibly a screen that says BIOS, if you get into that screen, what determines what version of the BIOS is, it's the firmware version, right? So that's what that is. And you can update firmware on many things. Like, for example, docking stations for the computers. You can update firmware on your phone, on your gaming console, on your TV. So it's basically the core operating system of a electronic device, digital, yeah, I guess so, modern age device, right? Electronic device. Question 10. Which of the following software licensing types is most likely to require the renewal of terms, conditions, agreements, and has annual fees, right? So what is something that requires renewal, right? What is it? What kind of license requires renewal? Terms and conditions, agreements, and has annual fee. So like a monthly subscription and stuff like that, right? Annual, well, not, I guess it would be annual fee. Sorry, not a monthly, but I guess you can have a monthly subscription as well, but it would fall into the same type of category. It says one-time purchase. No, it's not. We have annual fee. So it's not one-time purchase of software. License, open source is free, so it's not B. Group license, potentially you could have a group license that still has annual fees. This is, for example, prevalent in just about everything nowadays. The first thing that comes to mind is like Adobe products. Adobe products now, like if you were to buy Adobe Premiere, for example, for editing your videos or something like that, there will be a subscription, monthly or yearly, or annual, I should say, yearly, annual, whatever, same thing, subscription. But if you're using it for a group and you get a group license, it would be a different price. So you can do the same thing, obviously, it's just that it'll be for a group. However, we do have under D just word subscription, and for those reasons, we're going to go with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like this video. I know it's something, kind of simple for maybe most of you. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comment if you're brand new to IT. I know some people that watch my videos, they are transitioning into IT, and this is why I wanted to spend some time talking about certain things that came up in this practice test. If you want me to make more of these, I certainly will, and I have in the past as well. So do check that out. If you got a sec, please like the video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.